Verbally Effective, your double E, Ina Esco here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 142 of the Verbally Effective podcast. I know you guys still been in the house quarantining and everything, but it is time to shed light on a beautiful young lady that has joined me today. She has an extensive background in corporate marketing, and she has ventured off on her own to start her own strategic marketing firm called Friends and Company. I have with me today Diamond Taylor. How are you, beautiful?
I'm great, Ina. I'm super excited to be here. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Verbally Effective podcast. I know so many people are just going to enjoy hearing your story. And, we kind of talked before the podcast began about, working in corporate for so long and gaining all this experience and then actually taking the leap to start your own business. Because, that corporate money be good, right?
Corporate money, corporate insurance, corporate benefits,
Okay.
everything, trips, corporate cars.
Oh, I miss the traveling. Oh, now that's what I miss, that travel with that corporate card, honey.
Right.
We're going to get into all of those things. But of course, we're going to start at the beginning, Diamond. What part of Memphis are you from?
So I'm from Raleigh, and I say that because I grew up, I went to Craigmont High School. So as I was growing or gaining my independence from my parents, Raleigh. But originally, I'm Peachtree Apartments in Fraser. Actually, we were there until about the third grade. And then we moved to the Summit Apartments. So that started the Raleigh journey, and then to the Scenic Hills area, which is where I spent most of my life growing up in Memphis.
Wow. Now, when you were out there in Raleigh, what were you into, Diamond? What were you doing out there at Peachtree? Like, what was Diamond into growing up? Like, from a young girl, Diamond, you remember them days?
You know what? Nothing, because my mom wouldn't let me do nothing.
You said your mama wouldn't let you do nothing.
My mama was strict, honey.
Very strict.
Very strict. But during high school, I went to Craigmont High School. I was very involved. I ran track, cross country, on student council, just different things, being involved in the school. So I did a lot of things. And then, of course, my senior year, I worked at the Wolf Chase Mall at Lids.
Okay. Oh, you had a cute little Liz job, honey.
Yes, my boyfriend at the time loved it.
I know he did. Wow. That's funny you mentioned Liz, girl, because just this weekend, I took my oldest son, Dallas, to Liz, and he was like, I've never been in this store. I said, boy, this store is so old.
I used to have a time in there, honey.
Yes. All the custom hats you want, and he didn't know they came in sizes and stuff. The young lady was helping him, but that's funny that you just mentioned Liz. But are you an only child, or do you have any siblings?
I have siblings, and I'm actually from a blended family, honestly. So in my household, I'm the oldest. And then I have a younger sister who's 3 years younger than I am. So she's 27. And then I have a little brother who's 19. He actually went to his freshman year in college in Dayton, Tennessee.
Wow.
And so we're super close-knit siblings, which I'm excited because it wasn't always like that for me and my sister and I. So I'm just super excited to have moved back home and to develop that close-knit relationship with my siblings. For sure.
Yeah, that's a good thing when you can, when we get older, things change, we get closer to our siblings. I know it happens like that in a lot of families. But let's talk about when you graduated Craigmont. What did you do, Diamond?
So when I graduated Craigmont, I went to Christian Brothers University. I honestly, during that time, I was working at Lids, but then I had transitioned to another job at the Rendezvous in downtown Memphis.
Oh, the legendary Rendezvous.
Yes, the legendary, owned and operated by the family for 70 years. And so transitioned to Christian Brothers, where that just opened up a world of possibility. You know, at the time, coming from Craigmont High School, predominantly African American and Black school, and then transitioning to Christian Brothers, which of course predominantly a white university, and just, you know, the interactions were a bit different than what I was used to. However, I was very intentional about making sure I interacted with everyone and developed relationships with a lot of people that I called friends that I necessarily wouldn't have met if I didn't go to that university. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that experience. Coming from Craigmont High School, started my love for marketing with Miss Ma in a program called DECA, and then going to Christian Brothers and wanting to study and having my degree in marketing really just opened the floodgates to my professional career in sales with FedEx.
Wow. So while you were over there, Christian Brothers, you know, studying all the fundamentals of marketing, what were some of your favorite courses? And, you know, what really grabbed you and pulled you into marketing at Christian Brothers when you were going through your curriculum?
Honestly, I had a really great teacher. Her name was Jenny Cowell. She actually we would get to go to New York every year, not every year, but I feel like my junior and maybe even senior year, we would go to New York. There was a marketing and advertising conference. And so to see all the brands on stage and meet the marketing and advertising directors, the people behind the campaigns that you see on actual TV, you know, the ads, anything that you saw in the magazines, and to get to talk to the people that were actually either creating it or developing the strategy behind it. I said, wow, this is just super cool way to put a business in the forefront of a mass audience. So agency life always really attracted me, and I actually wanted to move to New York. I don't know what happened. I don't think I really intentionally pursued that agency path, and I just stayed in Memphis and got hired at FedEx.
Wow. So you immediately got hired with FedEx after
No,
graduation?
no. So I graduated in May of 2011. And at that time, I was still working at the Rendezvous. And I actually was making really good money because by that time, I had moved up to working behind the bar.
Okay.
And I graduated in May. I was looking for jobs. I mean, I applied everywhere. Enterprise, made it to the third and final interview. They wouldn't hire me. Paychecks, made it to the third and final interview. They wouldn't hire me. And some other company, but it was like every interview I went on, I would make it to the last one.
Yeah.
And no job. So one day I was just super sad. I'm like, I'm gonna be working at this restaurant forever. And then I was like, well, it's good money, but I just don't want to be on my feet like this.
Right,
You
right.
know?
That was just a test, honey. That was just a little test before the big bang.
Yes. So in October 2011, October 3rd, 2011, I actually got hired by FedEx, third and final interview. And there was a woman, two Black women on the panel, actually, Blanche Bond Hudson. She ended up being my manager, and I honestly believe that's one of the reasons that I was hired at FedEx in sales. So shout
Wow.
out to BBH.
Yes, shouts out. Now, you know, FedEx is like the company here in Memphis. Headquarters are here. FedEx is such a huge conglomerate with business. And, you know, Memphis, you know, we're right in the middle of distribution from any angle. So, you know, that's a major accomplishment working at FedEx corporate. I'm like, I want to go work at FedEx corporate. I know they making that money, boom, 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 but I would never leave, you know, the company that I was loving so much at the time. But tell me about your experience, you know, on this entry position into FedEx, and how did your journey go with FedEx in marketing?
Gotcha. So FedEx, you know, they have a lot of different op codes. So it's FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, FedEx Corporate, and FedEx Services, and then trade networks and all that. So I specifically in sales, I worked for FedEx Services. And honestly, my initial role was working in the building near actually in East Memphis first, but we ended up across from the airport, that area, that air park. And I was in inside sales. So basically I would have to make 15 sales calls a day was the minimum. So of course I'm like, well, I'm gonna make 18
Mm-hmm.
sales calls every day, and basically had to grow the revenue for the business. So basically convince or persuade customers that FedEx was the right fit for their business as it relates to transportation. Because in the industry, there's really two big competitors,
Mm-hmm.
FedEx and UPS. Now, the post office is a competitor with some services, especially with their flat rate. But honestly, it was selling FedEx to customers and saying, hey, this is why you should choose us, submitting pricing proposals, emails, communication, following up on issues, package tracking, damages, all types of things. And so I was in that role for about honestly 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before I even started to apply for what's called a field sales job, which is basically I would be doing the same thing that I was doing, but I would actually get to visit my customers, go in their businesses, have meetings with them, have more entertainment. I could take them to football games, to dinners, to lunches,
Yeah.
concerts, and all of that. And so I applied for a field sales job actually in DC and Nashville, got both of them, and then decided on Nashville.
Oh, decide why Nashville?
Well, honestly, it was from a revenue, from the money perspective. They offer more money for the Nashville position, and then the money is longer in Nashville than it is in DC.
Right, right. Wow. But you
Yeah.
were still traveling anyway, wherever you wanted to go. Damn near.
I
Wow.
wish I would have. I sometimes think about how my life would have been different if I would have went to DC. But I think everything, happens for a reason.
True, true. Now, when you moved to Nashville, how was that transition for you, having been in Memphis for so long and then, starting a new role and a new life in Nashville? It's not that far away, but I know there are differences, right?
Yes, honestly, I love Nashville. I know the Memphis and Nashville have a thing going on, but I love Nashville, and
Yeah.
especially at that time. How old was I? I think I was maybe 25, 26 maybe. I'm 31 now.
And they were going through a lot of growth then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I think I was about 25 or 26, but it was nice. I was living in downtown Nashville. Had a little change. I could go out whenever. The airport, I mean, flights everywhere. So
Yeah.
me and my friends, we getting on a plane on the weekends. And then, of course, working for FedEx, I would have standby privileges. So sometimes I would just go and see my friends in other markets.
Yeah.
And I loved being in Nashville, moving there and making friends. Luckily, because Nashville isn't so far from Memphis, I knew some people that were there. But then I got plugged in with other people in Nashville through the relationship I made with this girl named Angel Coopwood. And so just because she was a native Nashvillian, and she introduced me to her friends. So I really had a great group of solid people around me, and I actually miss Nashville quite a bit, honestly.
How long ago was it that you moved back?
I've been back in Memphis a year now.
Okay, so not that long, not that long. What brought you back to Memphis, Donnie?
Well, starting the business, honestly, really, and it kind of happened. Now that I think about it, I think everything happened intentionally. So in my apartment, when I moved to Nashville, I never moved. I don't like moving one. And so the place that I moved to Nashville, and I stayed there the entire time. And then as my lease was coming up, they sent out this mass email saying, hey, we're not renewing any more leases because we're turning this apartment into an Airbnb property.
Wow.
And so I was like, dang, I don't want to have to look. I love where I am. I didn't want to have to look. And then at that time, I was going through a lot of, I guess, personal growth. Because even with the job, I was not into it anymore. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to talk to customers. I have I mean, I think now because it was meant for me to start this business. Like the brand was this brand was dropped in my head. The Lord dropped the gem and the brand name in my mind in 2018.
Okay.
And so I would help business friends just on the side, like, hey, they need help with this. I helped a friend, Angel, actually, with Supper Time Social, which was a pop-up dinner party in Nashville, and we would organize it, and I would manage the social media and things like that. I would help another friend with certain things for their business, organizing steps. And so that was it. It was just really freelance me doing, and then of course FedEx. And I think it just, at that time, this was what I was meant to do. And because I wasn't walking truly in that purpose, I was not happy with what I was doing. And I couldn't explain it it didn't make sense, because every goal that I had wanted, FedEx allowed me the opportunity to do that. So when it comes to me saying, hey, I wanted to make 6 figures by 30, I did that at 24. When I wanted to travel the world, I won at FedEx, it's an award called President's Club, which is really the top salespeople every year. They get to go to a different country. So winning that twice, I was able to go to Australia and Monaco.
Wow.
And being able to see different things, FedEx allowed me every opportunity. So at one point I'm like, well, why aren't you grateful? Like, you've been doing this and you're trying to figure out where you want to go next, because I've been in that role in a while. But where I thought I wanted to go, which was a worldwide account manager, they manage brands and the entire brand, like Amazon and Apple, their entire. So they have to travel across the states to every distribution center. Me being in Nashville, I only had that one area. And so I thought I wanted to do that, but then I was like, no, that's so much travel. And if I know eventually I want to have a family, that's a role you can't, once you get up there, you don't want to leave that position. And I just didn't know where to go. And I think I just felt stuck.
Yeah.
And then with the apartment saying they were no longer renewing leases, with me saying you're not even really happy here in this role anymore. You don't want to be a sales manager. You don't want to be a WAM anymore, worldwide account manager. And you're not even doing that great of a job in the role anymore. I could tell that.
You weren't into it anymore.
And so I think it was like, well, you want to come home. You want to feel depth in your relationships with your family. Your parents are getting older. So everything happened at once. And
isn't that amazing how, like you said, you was feeling like, why am I not grateful for all of these opportunities that FedEx afforded me right now? And, it's that nagging feeling like, oh, I need to be doing something else. Like, I totally empathize with you, Diamond. Like, I know how you were feeling. What was it that actually pushed you to make that leap where you said, okay, putting in the resignation with FedEx and I'm starting Friends and Company? I know that was a task for you. So tell me about that.
I've only told this story probably 2 times because I'm ashamed and embarrassed about.
Don't be ashamed of your story. Come on, girl. These people need to hear it.
I didn't quit in the right way, Ina.
What you did? You didn't show up.
I did not do it right at all. And that's why I haven't told the story, because I'm even like, Diamond wouldn't do that. That was not, honestly, Ina.
What happened, Diamond? I got to know now. We all got to know.
Oh, and I have, honestly, Ina, it felt like an out-of-body experience. It really did. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, who was that? And when I tell it, people are like, what? But I have been thinking about it for a while. And then before I even was thinking about it, I had started going to therapy, because it's like, okay, I need to really just work out some stuff and really make this make sense. Because, Friends and Company, you making a little change, but it ain't this change.
Right.
You're not going to have insurance. the funds in your 401k looking good. You're not still gonna be able to contribute to that as much as you have been. You love fine dining, going out to eat on a regular. You love traveling. So if you do this, the lifestyle that you love and have gotten
Gonna
accustomed
change
to,
drastically.
I mean, night and day. And so, but it had been nagging me for a while. And then at one point, I was like, I can't keep having the same. I just can't keep letting my manager down. Like, you know, that whole situation. And so it was actually Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day weekend 2 years ago in Memphis. When I come home, I stay with different friends at the time. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend time with this friend on this trip or this friend. And so I was putting in what we call call notes. So after every meeting we have with a customer, we have a customer relationship management tool, CRM, where we have to put in call notes that basically talk about what we did with the client. And I was putting those in. I was just talking to her, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna quit. And she was like, what, are you sure? I was like, I don't know. And then I just, went back to work, preparing my presentations for the next day. And so I got up early Monday. It was probably 5 a.m, 5. And Monday morning, I drove to Nashville. That's about a 3-hour drive. And one of my clients called me and was like, hey, Diamond, we're having an issue with this package. It said it would be here then, and we're just having some challenges locating. I told my customer this, that, and the other. And so I then called what we call the ramp to call, like, hey, where's this package? Can I come pick it up? My client really needs it because it's already been delayed. And so I went by the ramp, which is the airport in Nashville, picked up the package for the client. And then and again, I'm not even dressed, I'm still in my Nike jumpsuit or whatever, but I'm like, getting this is on the way. Then I'll go home, put on my suit, get suited and booted for the day. So after I picked up the package, I took my work phone and just erased all settings. Like, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore after that call, and erased all the, factory settings. And I was like, wow, what made you do, this is me talking to myself. I done did it already, but I'm like, okay. So, and next thing I know, I'm driving to the office because we will work out of the station. So my station was in Brentwood, Tennessee. That's where my clients were. And I dropped the package off there. And then I went to the admin. Her name is Wanda. And I said, hey, Wanda. And I had my computer and the phone was cleared. So there was no client history, no emails. Everything was deleted.
You just swiped it clean.
Yes. And I just went in there. I said, hey, Wanda. I think I said, hey, Wanda, I'm so sorry to do this, but I just cannot do this work anymore.
At the ramp. You at the ramp with this.
When I picked up the client's package from the
you went back to Brentwood to your office. Oh, Wanda, I can't do it no more.
And yeah, she's my admin. And
what she say?
She was like, what, Diamond? And I said, yeah, I'm so sorry, because this is not the way that I wanted it. And she said, well, your manager is out of town. He's in Puerto Rico. Can you just wait? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, you can wait, get you another check. And, you can do some little stuff. He out the country, actually. Wasn't out of town. He was out of the country. Right. But what came out of my mouth, Ina?
What you say? I can't wait.
I said, no, I'm sorry. I cannot. And gave her the laptop. And left. And the whole time, my inner voice was like, what are you doing? Like, stop, slow down. But the stuff that was coming out of my mouth just was not.
That out-of-body experience.
Yeah, that's why I say it was just out of body, because looking back on it, I'm still like, what in the world? That's a moment that I'm actually ashamed about it because, in a corporate, like, honestly, my file does say, it probably says ineligible for rehire. And I spent 10 years there building relationships with people and great connections. And for me to leave in that way, it is one thing that I've been,
Was that your last communication with FedEx when you turned in your phone and your laptop to Wanda? Was that it right there? Did you have to follow up with your boss at any point, or that was it? That was that on it.
My coworkers and stuff, we keep in touch, and they call me afterwards and things like that. But yeah, that was it.
Wow. So that began the new journey, right?
Yeah.
So
That was 2 weeks later, I had came to Memphis, and luckily I had a friend that was okay with me staying with her for a few months, and I stayed with her. And yeah, that began the journey. I got my first client, and it's so funny now that I think about it, because I got my first paying client for my signature service in October. I started working at FedEx in October. 2011. So now that I'm thinking about it, to get my first paying client, high ticket client with Friends and Co. in October of last year.
Wow. So you're a year in now, Diamond, with Friends and Co. So tell the verbally effective audience about Friends and Co. and some of the things that you noticed that entrepreneurs were struggling with, that you felt that you could, fill that gap in. Tell me about Friends and Co.
So Friends and Co. is really, it's honestly short for my friends and their companies. So basically, when I was helping them, I was like, well, my friends and their businesses, but Friends and Companies just sounded better. So that's how the brand was started. But me working with FedEx and working with the businesses that I worked with. So I was able to work with Amazon. I was able to work with Saks. I was able to work with Apple. I was able to work with Technicolor. I was able to work with large brands, government relationships. And then in my role in Nashville, being able to see people on the smaller end of business. And I don't say small meaning revenue, because they were making millions of dollars as far as their gross revenue, but smaller because it was 1 to 5 people, and they were able to produce that much revenue. So seeing how they operated, seeing how they took the money to reinvest, seeing how they were doing in marketing, like my client base, their shipping or transportation that they spent on that per year was anywhere from $60,000 a year to about $300,000 a year. And that was just shipping. So to see them operate, I was able to get in their business, because part of selling FedEx is selling the technology. Right. So that's how to make it easier to ship with us. Hey, we can get you a scanner where you'll be able to just scan this and it pre-populates. So now you don't have any human error when it comes to typing in your addresses. Or we can integrate in your order processing system, so when you click a button, it automatically pre-populates. But then they were like, well, I need you to integrate with my QuickBooks, so that can, and it was just a lot of different things where I was able to see the holistic view of the business, because I had to understand how to position FedEx the best way to make the sale. So with me seeing that and knowing what I knew about my friends' businesses, there were really 2 things. One was the mindset. I think particularly with us or with our community being either first generation high earners, our goal is to hold on to the money. However, what I was seeing in the field was that they use money as a tool to reinvest and grow their businesses, or reinvest it to make money. So money was more so a tool. And even with me, it's like I'm trying to save and hold on to it, but it's not doing anything for me just right. So the first thing was the mindset. The second thing was, from a finance and accounting perspective, you don't even know the numbers. Like, people always want to start with marketing first. And honestly, that should be the ass end. I mean, sorry, that
No,
should be
you
the
good.
end
Mm-hmm.
of that's where you need to start last. Like
Wow.
every business needs to have access to someone in the legal field and an accountant, because the legal person is going to show you this is what you need to do to set up, and the accountant is going to say this is how much you have to invest, this is how you should break down your operating budget, your marketing costs, your product costs, how are you going to do your gross margins, and all of those things I felt were missing from the businesses that I was even helping from friends. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like if you're not set up right on the front end, as you grow and scale, it's going to become a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to have a huge mess, and keeping up with that and trying to hire people, grow, it's just not going to be easy for you. So it's really, let's set the foundation here right. And then let's put those other blocks on top of it so you can grow and scale and be able to hire talented people in our communities that look like us.
Wow. So you are really setting up that foundation for, your friends, right? You're really setting that foundation. And you're right, like all of the things that you just spoke about, the mindset, getting the numbers right. We do focus on marketing first because we want to get that product out there any kind of way. We're going to put it on Instagram. We're going to put it on Facebook. We're going to make this money, but none of the front end has been handled yet, right?
And honestly, even with marketing, some people, they just think Facebook and Instagram is enough. But honestly, with marketing as a small business, the competitive advantage is that you're small. And so you should be able to provide the best service in the world. And I don't think enough people focus on the customer journey enough. Like, how can you make it as easy as possible for a client to purchase from you?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people focus on that. I honestly think social media has made people think that their followers are fans, and that I'm the no, these people trying to spend money with you. You need to build a relationship, build a community, so they tell other people that
Right.
are likely to spend money with you instead of somebody else. There's millions of brands out there. There are over 500 million people that use IG a day.
A day.
So many
So
different brands.
would you say, Diamond, that maybe social media has crippled us in a sense?
No, I think the mindset around that a person has around social media can be crippling.
Yeah.
I think if you're not intentional in having an actual strategy, like why are you even on social media? Like I tell my clients, if you can't be consistent with the content that you post, don't even get on social media. Let's just build a one-to-one relationship with everybody in your audience or everybody that's in your portfolio of customers. One of the things that I learned from FedEx is, how do you increase your share of wallet? You have a list of this many people, but only the top 20% of customers or whomever give a business 80% of their overall revenue. So how do you get the people outside of the 20 to see value?
That
And
80-20 rule. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that corporate talk, baby. 80-20 rule. Wow. So where do you see friends and company going, Diamond? And what type of clients do you have? How would you describe your client base right now? And where do you see it going?
Okay, so right now I have a mixture of clients, and that's one thing I'm really wanting to niche down to work with a certain industry. So I have a Keystone Tax Solutions. They're my client that's on retainer, and they are a software as a service company. So they sell tax software to tax preparers, but where their competitive advantage is that they offer customer support. So if a tax preparer is having an issue or they need help with marketing, they can literally pick up the phone, call Keystone, and Keystone will either walk them through the problem, get them an answer, or say, okay, this is where you're struggling with marketing your tax preparation business. Try these tips. They give a lot of resources around education with their Keystone Tax School to help tax preparers succeed.
Mhm.
And then I have some e-commerce brands that I've been working with. And then from time to time, I do work with Paula Rayford at the disco. She has Robert Rayford Day, a day to commemorate her dad every year. And so we work together on that. And she's actually going to be open this week for Halloween. Is Halloween this week? Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so she's opening back up for Halloween. Have your mask on. Um, and I honestly see the business, honestly, in 5 years, I want to have 1,100 clarity coaches. So that's basically 1,100 people in the discipline of finance and accounting, marketing, legal, and operations. I wanted to become an on-call help desk for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, because a lot of times the operating budget to have an attorney on staff just isn't there right then, but they still need the legal support. So I want Friends and Company to be who anyone that has a business or wants to start a business can call. Hey, I need help setting up. Think about Friends and Co. Hey, I need to talk to an attorney. These are your options. This is what you should do. I want a Friends and Co building. Actually, and I want it to look like a home, kind of like a restoration hardware type of feel.
Yeah.
And then have people be able to test out their concepts in different rooms until they're ready to have their own either brick and mortar or kind of whatever they want to do. But that's where I see it going.
It sounds so good, Diamond, what you're building and how you're, helping your friends, these entrepreneurs, get more organized and, get ahead of the game and being proactive on the front end, because that's only going to help in the long term. So I applaud you for the work that you're doing. And, we are definitely in a pandemic and these COVID cases are rising. How has this entire pandemic affected your world overall?
You know what? So when I came back, I actually when I came back to Memphis, I started back working at the Rendezvous as a manager. So I was doing that maybe 2 or 3 days a week, but then of course Friends and Co. And so when COVID hit, of course, restaurants completely shut down. But then my clients needed more communication to their clients. So I had to create more email campaigns or send out more emails, because I do work with the communication piece as far as that customer journey and building community. That's one of the services offered. So more of my clients needed more and more communication. One of my clients, Cliff, which is a nonprofit here that focuses on say no to distracted driving. She had to produce a virtual conference because she had to use the funds that she was given from the state. She had to produce a virtual conference. I helped her with that, plugged her with all the right resources, and we were able to produce a conference. So there were a lot of different things that actually increased my revenue with COVID. And I'm grateful for that, because that isn't the case for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
And so honestly, during COVID, I was actually able to really focus on what the mission of Friends and Company is. And it's to empower entrepreneurs on their entrepreneurial journey in every stage. So that's the startup, that's when you're in it. And then when you're ready to reinvest in trusted help to actually do the work for you, so you can focus on the business. As the CEO, your goal is to think about the business 5 and 10 years from now. And so not spend your time on tasks that you should be outsourcing.
Yes. So this pandemic has increased your business. I find that with quite a few entrepreneurs, there are many pros and cons to this pandemic, but for a lot of business owners that I know, it's really, kind of giving them insight into other areas they've been needing to focus on, which they found to been more profitable. So you say. So one more thing I want to talk to you about, Diamond, because I know that you're well connected. You are very strategic in what you do, intentional and about what you do. So talk to the people about this upcoming election, girl. So, early voting is going on right now in the city of Memphis in Tennessee. What are your thoughts on this upcoming election, and why is it so critical right now for people to get out and vote this 2020?
So I just try to stray away from politics, but I do. I think one, this election is super important because of the issues that are at stake. Everybody can see everything that's going on with the news, with the debates if you're watching them. And I have already early voted, but I think that this election is super important because of what's at stake from a humanity perspective. And I think both sides, some people are saying both candidates are not that great. But I think if you look at holistically from a humanity perspective, I think there's a clear decision that should be made.
Yeah.
However, I think that people need to take civic engagement a lot more serious, not just in this election, but all elections. And I think specifically take more seriously the local elections, because those things are going to affect you today and right now. Presidential elections, most definitely their effects, but they're slow rolling effects that you feel, maybe 3 years from when a decision.
Almost when they're going out of office,
Exactly. And so the local ones, people need to get engaged, but they should be more informed about it. I think people should really be intentional about researching candidates proactively before going into the polls, but understanding why each office exists. And I think it's hard to do that, though. It's time consuming. If you really just, even with the local election, deciding between all the candidates, they are going to their website, reading their website, but then reading their website not with the biases that they've put on there, but then saying, well, this role doesn't even do what you talking about you can do. So why are you saying that? So it's I think civic engagement as a whole is just super important, and everybody should become an informed voter. Everybody should be informed about their future, because basically they affect policy, economics, criminal justice, healthcare, all those things. And I think really people should be more intentional about voting locally as well.
And you said you early voted. How was that experience for you?
I was in and out. I went at the place across 201 Pop. I didn't go the first week because I knew it was just going to be a ruckus. But I was in and out. Went to the place downtown across from 201, I think. And I was literally in and out. People were nice. Everybody was masked up. Sanitizer. Got my sticker.
Yeah, well, then that's good for you, because you look at these other states and people are in these long lines, not social distancing. Like, how do you do that when you're trying to vote and all of these people are here? So that's pretty good that you were in and out like that. And, I don't have the luxury. I'm out here in DeSoto County in Mississippi. I don't have the luxury of early voting. We're the only state that does not do early voting. So, I'm trying to see how that line gonna look on election day, but I will be there. One more thing.
Now, they say long lines, that's voter suppression. So there's a hotline.
Yeah, we suppress all kind of ways around here, honey, but especially in Mississippi. Yes. So Diamond, if you were to pick me up and we go and get some drinks, what would you be bumping in that ride when you pull up to my house, honey? What's gonna be playing in that car?
It really depends on the mood. I could throw a little Dolph or a little goddamn.
Okay.
But then just this morning I was listening to a little David Ruffin.
Yeah, that pimping. Oh, you on that pimping too?
A little Bobby Womack.
Look, when I turn the Zoom on, you listen to some SZA, honey.
Yes.
I said, oh, she in a SZA mood this morning.
Yeah, so honestly, it really depends on my mood. I think lately, let's see what's on my Apple Music favorite. They give you that favorites mix.
Oh yeah, I love the mixes they create for me.
I
Okay, oh,
love.
they know me.
Yes, they like, oh. So I have a little Masego. I love him
Mhm.
with the sax. Victoria Monet.
Okay.
Albie Shore is on there. David Ruffin is on there. Party Next Door.
So do you listen to music while you work?
I do. I do. I usually listen to more of a softer tune, so more like the internet and Masego type of
Mhm.
sax or just soft. Because I don't know, like, what would you consider the genre for the internet? Because I don't. Are they R&B? Are they like a neo
You know
R&B?
what? They're like a mixture because they do so much with instrumentation. I think they're categorized. They may be categorized as pop, I want to say. I don't think they're in that full R&B category. They may kind of swivel between the lines, but I like the internet. They are really, different. I like how they sound. It's a different sound. Okay,
Yeah.
Miss
And then
Donna.
beat instrumentals is one thing I listen to because it's a lot of different, like you said, sounds, but no lyrics. So I can really
Right,
completely vibe
right.
out with it.
Okay, well, sure. Man, you can hang, honey. We got that music in common too. You know what, Diamond? I have really enjoyed you today on the Verbally Effective Podcast. We've learned so much about your journey, and I wish you the best of luck with friends and company. You're doing some amazing work helping them build a foundation for their companies. Looking at that long-term picture, right? Because that's what a lot of these entrepreneurs need to be focused on, that long term, what's going to keep you stabilized out in
Yeah.
this market right now, building towards the future. So I applaud you for that. I want you to let everybody know how they can keep in touch and see all of the wonderful things that Diamond Taylor is doing, honey.
Well, most definitely follow the Friends and Company Instagram. It's Hire Friends and Co. And that's HIRE Friends and Co. But also you can visit the website hire, HIRE, friendsandco.com. And specifically for verbally effective listeners, I have hirefriendsandco.com/verbally effective. We're doing
Boom.
a special offer for your listeners for a clarity conversation, but then also sign up to the mailing list. I'm starting that back this month, actually, since it's my year anniversary, but also I'm starting a video interviews where the first one I'm releasing is actually with Paula about her journey as a business owner and how basically inspiration for other business owners with some tips and just different things for them to think about. So I have a lot of things in the
Amazing.
works.
Yes.
I'm
Great
excited to be here.
job. And congratulations on your upcoming 1 year anniversary.
Thank you so much.
I know that's a huge milestone for you, lady.
It
Yes.
is. It is.
Yes. Feel good, don't it? Feel
It does.
good.
I'm still here. Now I'm like, how I'm gonna make sure I'm here for year 2, 5, and 10.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out, Diamond. I really appreciate you, lady. Thank you so much for joining us. You are indeed an inspiration. I can't wait for everybody to hear this on Monday. And I just want to, let you know that, we are all watching. We are all inspired. Stay encouraged in what you're doing, okay?
Thank you so much, Ina. Thank you for the opportunity to chat with you today.
You're welcome. You have a good one, and I will be in touch. It's gonna be me on that clarity call, honey, for Ivy Multimedia, baby.
Yes, ma'am. The first one you get to choose, name your own price. So.
Oh, okay. Well, look, let me sign up now, honey, because I know you expensive.
It's an investment, okay?
I understand. Oh, I'm all about it. Hey, you got to charge what you're worth, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Charge what you are worth. Some people like, oh, they not gonna pay for that. Hey, they need to pay for that. Like, don't cut your money short.
Yes, yes. I'd love to chat with you, so I'll send you everything. But
Yes,
yes,
please, please. Thank you, Diamond. You have a lovely day, lady.
yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.